Hi, and welcome back to part 2 of 13 life-changing ideas you never heard of by George Mack, as shown on the Modern Wisdom podcast. Without further ado, we're going to be talking about the energy trap, the activity trap.
Peter Drucker has this great thing called the activity trap, which is essentially the idea you have your activity and you have your output. And your activity is just inputs going in the system, doing things, replying to messages, clicking buttons and moving around and feeling like you've done something. But often at the end of the day, nothing's happened. So the activity trap is if you stress activity, you don't necessarily increase output. Whenever you stress output, so the end result, you'll always improve output, but you'll often actually ironically decrease activity. So the biggest thing for me is if I'm sat there at the end of the day and I'm feeling exhausted, I'm like, what's actually got done?
Yeah. Well, yeah, not what did I do, what got done.
Yes.
Because what I did doesn't actually always result in something being done on the other side.
So with that, we're going to go to the notes. And right here, what you do does not equal what you do does not equal what gets done. So hopefully my mouse shows up on screen. I think it will, but this is very important. And taking back to the analogy I started with yesterday's video, pushing down an oak tree. You might put a lot of work into pushing that oak tree down, but nothing's going to get done. That's like that analogy I came up with. Anyways, output does not always, the activities you do not always produce the outcome you want. If you look at the outcome, let's just say your outcome is to become a millionaire, own your own business, be a success. I'm not sure I had the background to it. Become a success. What is needed for that? Well, some people, they might do activities such as daily ice baths or daily journaling or daily running or meditation. Meditation's quite good, but they do all these things and you think that's going to give you the outcome you want. Just want to quickly go back. Meditation will actually help you. Ice baths won't really, but meditating is really good because it gives you new ideas, and you need new ideas in order to realize opportunities. But yes to meditation. I highly recommend everyone do that. But activities do not always produce the outcome. No matter how many daily ice baths you take, you will not become a millionaire. You have to do other stuff in addition to it. It's just film them or create some sort of culture around it. But start with the end in mind. Where do you want to be? What do you want to have accomplished? And then look at what tasks will get you there. Answering your emails hardly ever gets you to the task that you actually need to be at. So, scroll down. I just love this quote. He said, if you stress activity, you don't necessarily increase output. Whenever you stress output, then result, you always improve. I think I missed it. You're supposed to say you always improve. Whenever you stress output, you will always improve the productivity, but you often, ironically, decrease activity. So more productive with less actual stuff you have to do.
Quote is, there's so many people working so hard and achieving so little.
What's that mean to you?
What it means is there's so much inputs going into the system without any outputs. And because we're so busy, we never actually get time to question the outputs that we're producing.
What about energy? How does sort of energy flows throughout the day play into the busy trap?
Yeah, I think the law I found with my own personal energy levels is that if I don't proactively schedule things in that increase my energy, they'll never happen. And if I don't proactively defend things that decrease my energy, they will eat up my calendar. It's kind of like running a business. It's almost like the laws of physics that your revenue is trying to go down every day and your costs are trying to go up every day. And it's exactly the same with energy. And I weirdly found this when I was traveling or when I'm going through super stressful periods of life, that the natural idiot brain that I have is when I have, imagine your energy levels like inflows and outflows, like an engineering system.
Yes, let's imagine them like an engineering system. So right here we have energy flows, and I just put up top, schedule things that will increase your energy, because if you don't, they'll never actually happen. But this is an equation I took from my heat transfer class, because I do have a degree in mechanical engineering. So this is delta EST, which is the change in energy of the system equals the energy in minus the energy out plus the energy generated. So if we see and you want to be keeping this, so the change in energy, you either want it to be increasing or to be zero, which is you stay with the same amount of energy day to day. If it's decreasing, then tomorrow you're going to have less energy than the next day. You either want to have the same amount of energy for each day, or you want to have more energy the next day so you can tackle bigger things depending on where you're at. Anyways, what gives you energy? Sleep. What takes it out? Work. And how do you generate it? You have to eat food, and the mitochondria in your cells will produce energy. So you can also improve the energy generation through increasing metabolism. And there's a whole series of stuff I'm going to talk about on that, but that's a whole other video. So, and this is a question I have. I've heard some people talk about how their work gives them energy, and I'm going to look more into that. But if this was the case, you'd pretty much be unstoppable, because the more you work, the more you get done, the more energy you have to get more stuff done. So that's just going to be like a snowballing effect, and you're going to take over the whole world. Anyways, back to the video, and then we have some other stuff to talk about.
Whenever there's lots of energy outflows on the system, i.e. I'm super stressed, i.e. I'm traveling right now, the natural weird thing that we do is to turn off all the energy inflows.
To give ourselves more time to work on the outflows. And then you end up completely burnt out, whereas actually what you need to do is crank up the energy inflows more to deal with the higher costs on the system. And even Churchill, when you think about grinding, like Churchill, World War II, like that's some like serious Sigma grind set right there, like the apex. And even him, like taking multiple naps throughout the day. That's one of the reasons how he managed to work throughout the nights. And yeah, that concept of there's no such thing as under rest. There's just, there's no such thing as being overworked. There's just under rest makes so much sense from a utility perspective. It might not necessarily be true, but it reframes it. Has there ever been a time when you've gone, wow, I'm rested, but also overworked? No, almost never, because of the busy trap, because of the fact that you continue to loop yourself back. Oh, well, I'd better reject all of the things that give me more energy by meditating or breath work or getting up early or going for a walk or going to the gym or spending time with friends. Or
let's talk about that. So here I just had ChatGPT generate me a list of activities that give you energy, and we're going to talk about these and annotate them. So exercise so you feel more energized after you get out of the gym. So do not necessarily push yourself to get to the last of your energy. Give yourself plenty of time in between sets. Focus more on relaxed, explosive movement and doing a couple good reps, like 5 reps of this. And I prefer high weight kettlebell swings and snatches that give you good movement, activate a lot of muscles and explosiveness. Pavel talks about this in his kettlebell books, but this is amazing. Then we have eating healthy. So no no sugar. That's going to spike you up and it's going to take away a lot of your energy. Artificial sweeteners are in so much. Do not do energy drinks. They will kill your gut health, and they will also cause you to crash. If you switch from energy drinks to caffeine pills, you will not have a crash at all. If you even do have a little crash, it'll be very small. But I made that switch when I was getting off caffeine, and it was a huge one, because there's actually 2 addictions. There's an addiction to the sweeteners, and then there's the addiction to the caffeine itself. So make that switch. The second one would be vegetable oil. This stuff is horrible for you. Watch videos about how it's actually produced. It has lots of chemicals, GMO. Do not consume it. Avocado oil, coconut oil, olive oil, or just use butter. It's also an amazing fat. Sleep, high quality sleep. So in order to make sure you get good sleep, your body, you need to go to bed with a low blood sugar level, and I forget what video it was, but I was talking about this. Your body produces, I think it's huberine. Your body produces HGH, which is human growth hormone, which helps you to rebuild itself primarily at 2 stages in the day. Right after you work out and right when you fall asleep during that first like hour or two. Your body will not produce human growth hormone if you have high blood sugar. So do not have a high blood sugar after your workout, and do not have a high blood sugar right before you go to bed. So cut out the snacking right before bed. Then meditation and mindfulness. I have made many videos on this. I highly recommend everyone takes a 15-minute break to do nothing every 3 hours. Sit in your chair. Look at your computer like that. If your work environment is so toxic that they will not allow you to take 15 minutes to do nothing in order to actually improve your performance, then sit in your chair like this and just allow yourself to relax. I don't know, put on sunglasses, put on, say they're your blue light blockers or something. But just sit there like that, and you're not trying to fall asleep. You can set a timer to make sure it's 15 minutes, but the goal here is to actually allow thoughts to flow through your mind, allow your mind to kind of unwind, because much of our day is spent doing repetitive tasks. If you're working as an engineer, you're spending the whole day analyzing. When you're analyzing, you're using same parts of the brain. Those same neurons are firing and they build up excess nutrients. Let's put it this way. This is how I think about it. I don't have a degree in biology. I don't have a degree in chemistry. This might not be correct, but this is how I understand it from feeling my own body. Imagine a neuron needs some nutrients. This is a nutrient. It's one right here and there's one here. So the neuron takes it takes this nutrients, uses it, and then this is the waste product left over from taking the nutrients, and it spits it out. Over time, the neuron spits out a lot of this stuff, and you just have it built up all over here in this section. And when it has a buildup like that, I'll start getting a headache. And what I'll do is I'll sit there and you do nothing. Do not put, like, if you're at work, you might be able to put AirPods in. Do not play anything on the AirPods, but like, if you put AirPods in, just go like this, they'll assume you're working, even though you're just relaxing, which is also beneficial to the company itself. But sit there, allow your mind to relax, focus on your breathing, and allow thoughts to flow through your head. Feel how your head feels, and you'll notice this whole buildup of the waste products kind of like spread out and disperse and leave your brain. It feels like tension leaving your brain. And once you notice it, it's really profound, and you feel so much energized. You feel like completely refreshed, and I highly recommend this. Do not drink extra coffee. The coffee is just going to give you more energy so that you can then push further and build up more stuff. And when you build up more stuff, you're just going to have a bigger headache later on, which is a lot of the crashing later in the day, the can't think, and the fuzziness that you can feel if you push yourself very hard mentally. 15 minutes every 3 hours. I mean, hell, you could, no, try not to swear, but you could lie and say that you took up smoking and just go sit in your car and relax for 15 minutes. Go sit on a bench outside for 15 minutes. It is highly recommended, and Huberman even talks about this. Even though I started doing this before Huberman talked about it, me saying that he talked about this does give it some degree of credibility to a lot of people. So he actually does talk about this, and I recommend people doing it. Socializing. Very good. Many people are energized. If you're an extrovert, you're energized by socializing with people. If you're an introvert, I recommend practicing being an extrovert so that you can be energized by interacting with people, because it's very nice, and you should keep up your social interactions. And it is something that you can work on yourself. Learning and developing. So again, ChatGPT made this list for me. I don't really find learning to be that energizing. I find it to actually take brain power to understand stuff. Walking in nature without your phone. Seriously, guys, like, it's not rest if you're on your phone. If you're listening to other things, allow your brain to de-stress and not think about anything. If you want to think about something, think about your breath. Feel how it feels to breathe and feel how it feels to be alive. Listen to the sounds of nature. Creative activities, awesome. Music, awesome. Dance, amazing. Relaxing techniques, deep breathing, stretching, relaxing baths, sauna, without the headphones. Literally, all this stuff, you can listen to music while you do this stuff, but it's going to be deepened by not listening to music. Because when you listen to music, your brain's going to be firing, and your whole point of this is to stop the brain from firing. So you have to limit the external stimuli you're giving it. If you had a sensory deprivation tank, I would tell you to go in that. That's going to be better. Hydration. Drinking water is very good for you. Not Gatorade. Gatorade's absolute crap. Not only do they have sweeteners in it, but also the levels of potassium are way too high because they can say, this many grams of electrolytes. No. You don't need that many grams of potassium. What you need is salt and magnesium. And when you put that much potassium in it, you don't really get the use of it. But if you put a lot of salt in it, then people are going to complain that it tastes too salty. Anyways, I'm not a fan of electrolytes. I'm not a fan of any electrolyte drinks. I'll put it that way. And why do you need electrolytes? So when you're hydrated, when you're drinking your water, this is fresh, well, actually this is mineral water, but from a spring. When you're drinking fresh water, let's think about this as an engineering system. You're taking in fresh water that's then going to make you go pee, and you're peeing out electrolytes because your body naturally has, because of osmosis, in your body reaching equilibrium. Once you take in fresh water, that fresh water mixes with all the magnesium, the salt, the potassium, the calcium, and the zinc already in the water in your cells, and then you pee out a diluted version of that. So when you have fresh water coming in and electrolytes going out, you're going to have a deficiency of electrolytes. You need to replace those. If you want to replace those, I highly recommend staying away from things like magnesium stearate, which, let's just go to the first page of Google, magnesium stearate. It is a soap that has low toxicity. Yeah. No, this is actually horrible. Because it's a soap, what it'll do is it'll break down the, what is it? It will break down some of the cells in your gut, stopping you from being able to properly absorb nutrients, and is absolutely horrible for you. And if you want electrolytes that don't have it, I highly recommend Sleep Minerals, which is an actual supplement my brother and I came up with, and it has no binders, has no fillers. It is pure sodium, magnesium, calcium, zinc in a gelatin capsule. Nothing nasty added, and you can get a free 14-day trial with the link down in the description. But stay away from magnesium stearate. If you mix your own stuff, have at it. This is a pre-mixed blend that we have put out, which is perfectly balanced for everything that you need. And proper electrolytes. So electrolytes actually send signals through your body, and in order for your nerves to fire, because the electrical signals, you need electrolytes, you need that salty brine. So without proper electrolytes, you have sleep issues, you'll have tiredness. If you're low on sodium, you can feel exhausted, even if you have a bunch of caffeine in you. It's this weird, exhausted, cracked out feeling that you can get. It means you're low on electrolytes. So take some salt some food heavier, or just take Sleep Minerals. We have vitamin C in there, which will also help. But leg cramping, that's magnesium. I highly recommend magnesium glycinate. There's a lot of stuff that goes into this, and there's magnesium citrate and oxide, and those two forms of magnesium will make you poop yourself. If you consume the amount that you would need to stop yourself from having muscle cramps, you will have diarrhea due to the citrate and the oxide which they bind to, because there's different ways you can bind magnesium to other compounds in order to get it into your body, and depending on what you bind it to, it can have negative effects, such as being a diuretic. If you want a diuretic, then magnesium oxide is a really cheap and easy way to go. But magnesium, muscle cramps. They'll tell you it's potassium, it's magnesium. It's really magnesium. I've solved this for like over 30 people that I know, and I've talked to them, and they're like, hey, this is like, I'm getting muscle cramps. I'm like, it's magnesium, dude. They're like, no, my doctor says I need bananas. I'm like, dude, here's some magnesium pills. Just take these. It's gonna go away. And they take them. So it's not rocket science, even though it is a lot of science. It's not rocket science. They just don't always understand what you actually need. Headaches. you can get a headache from a lack of electrolytes because your brain is trying to send signals which without enough, like, the more electrolytes you have until a point, the easier it is. Well, the more electrolytes there are, the easier it is to send electricity through it. That you should not overdo your electrolytes, but if you have too little electrolytes, it's going to be very difficult for your brain to send the signals that it needs to and for the nerves to do what they need to do, and your body is going to suffer from it. This can happen in the form of really bad headaches. So if you have a headache, you can take aspirin. Aspirin is a little band-aid you can slap on the issue, but you know what that headache is? That headache is your body telling you, hey man, there's something wrong. Like, listen to me. Stop trying to block me out with aspirin. Think about it. You're either overworking, overexerting yourself, maybe you don't have proper nutrients, there's something you need to address. An aspirin is not what you need. An aspirin is a band-aid that hides the symptoms. The issue is still there, and it's going to arise in other forms. So, electrolytes, they're highly, highly important. If you drink alcohol, your alcohol is slightly toxic to the body. So your body will try to filter it out. And when it filters it out, it tries to filter it out by making you pee more. And when you pee more, you need to drink more water. And if that water is not salted or has the proper electrolyte ratio in it, you are peeing out your electrolytes, which is going to dehydrate you. The same goes for caffeine. Caffeine is actually a toxin generated by plants to kill insects. If you consume a very small amount of it, it can produce a stimulant effect on your body. But your body's still trying to flush it out. So it's going to make you pee more. And you need to take those electrolytes back in. Seriously, like, the number of people I've met that actually have proper electrolytes is very low. There's studies out there, half of the country is deficient in magnesium, which we have in sleep minerals. I mean, buy my stuff, don't buy my stuff. It's what I use personally. It's what my friends use. It's what I think is the best on the market and has the least amount of fillers. If you don't want to buy my stuff and you want to do this all yourself, there's snake juice online, and it's called snake juice, but it's a recipe for certain electrolyte mixes by Cole Robinson, a guy really big into fasting, and you can buy those powders and mix this yourself. Sleep minerals is just the easier way of doing it. Anyways, it's a lot of information to look at, but increase your salt. A lot of people don't realize that. The world today tells you salt is bad. If you're craving salt, and I mean on whole foods, not processed foods, if you're eating a steak and you crave salt, put more salt on it. I might have to say I'm not a doctor, so entertainment purposes only, but that's to cover my own butt. Put more salt on it for entertainment purposes. I eat tons of it, and I've got blood work. I put so much salt on my food that someone once came over and asked me why I put sugar on it, and I said, no man, this is salt. And they looked at me like, what? I'm like, yeah man, I like salt. Without it, food tastes bland. I just crave it. And my whole family is like, you're gonna die, it's way too much salt. What I did, I'm like, okay, I got blood work done. You know what that blood work said? I was low on sodium. Imagine that. My body tells me, hey man, eat more salt. Modern science tells me, you want to limit the amount of salt you have. I listen to my body, and it turns out I actually have a salt deficiency for some reason. I don't know why I have a salt deficiency, but I can treat it by eating more salt. I love salt. Like, it's what you saw me eating at the beginning of the episode when I was popping stuff into my mouth. Those were large salt crystals because I like chewing on them and eating them. Like, I literally love salt so much. But proper electrolytes is a very important thing and key to making sure your brain and your body function properly. Without proper electrolytes, your brain will not fire properly, it will not send the proper signals, and it can cause issues in your body. And this could be a reason, if you do have sleep issues, why you're not able to sleep, because you're missing certain chemicals and nutrients that you need. with that being said, this is going to end it for, actually, we have one more part. We have, so this bottom section right here is actually, this is a book called How to Train Your Mind. It's, if you have an Audible subscription, it is free on Audible. It's an amazing book, and I will touch on this in part 3, but I need to go through that book, take some notes on it. And it basically describes to you how meditating for 20 minutes a day will save you over 3 hours with helping you focus and actually apply the work to where it needs to go. The scribble is just to remind me to do this, but I'm trying to get these videos out, and that might mean that not everything's perfect, but I want to get the information out there because it is that valuable. Ways that drain your energy. I'm going to scroll down a teeny bit. So, stress. Stress is horrible. Stress is very bad. If you always feel like you're working from behind the line, if you always feel like you're missing and you're behind, what do I recommend doing? If, let's just say, I'm right here. This isn't coming across in the video. Let's just say I'm right here and I'm chasing this finish line, and it's always always in front of me no matter how fast I go. You know what I like doing? Just put it right there. Just move the finish line, man. Tell your boss, tell whoever, hey man, I need like an extra couple days. Move that finish line to where you actually are, and then don't stress. And the amazing thing is, when you don't stress, you actually get more done. It's like this crazy thing that took me a while to actually figure out. I made a video on it, where if you do not stress, I used to think nothing will get done if I don't stress about it. No, if you do not stress, you actually get more done. It's freaking insane, but it's very important to put this out. So, yeah, right there. Communicate. Multitasking. Talked about that earlier in the episode. It is horrible, and I think it was in part 1, but your main asset is your ability to focus. If you can focus your mind, you can accomplish anything you set it to. If you cannot focus your mind, if you are constantly multitasking from an inability to focus, you will get nothing done. Focusing is horrible. Cut out TV, which puts you on autopilot. And the issue with being on autopilot is you don't ask the 3 questions that we talked about earlier, which is, why are we doing this? Does this make sense? Is this the most important thing to be working on? When you're on autopilot, when you're listening to music, when you're multitasking, you are not asking these questions. Put this up on the wall. Like seriously, put this up by your computer on a sticky note right below the screen. This will help you. Other tasks. Excessive screen time. So, yeah, you're not fully relaxing. Let's scroll right there. You're not fully relaxing if you're on a screen. Eating unhealthy foods. Okay, it says, again, ChatGPT made this list for me. I'm just annotating and giving my actual opinion on it, such as the video and other things. Consuming junk food is bad. Meals high in sugar, I would also not recommend. Sugar makes my blood sugar spike, and I can't really focus that well, and I don't like how I feel. I feel puffy. And where is it? High fat. I'm a big fan of the keto diet. I eat high fat. I love my baked sweet potato and a nice ribeye or a nice chuck steak. I'm a big fan of, if your body says high fat and you're eating clean food, like literally, if you eat clean, whole foods that are not processed, listen to what your body tells you. Go like this to medical science. Listen to what your body tells you. If you're eating actual food, non-processed stuff. I mean, like, food, think about it this way. Eat food that would be recognized by someone who lived in 1910. If they wouldn't recognize it as food, then don't eat it. Let's go here. Unhealthy eating, sleep deprivation. If you're not getting enough sleep, yeah, this is going to mess you up. And if you're not getting good quality sleep, this can also mess you up. That could be due to electrolytes, which Sleep Minerals, check the description down below. It's seriously amazing, which is why we made it. Like, the amount of effort that we had to, yeah, that's my brother. The amount of effort that we actually had to put in to making this supplement.
15 years of research on my part, and then at least 6 years of just me capping my own supplements and trying to get my coaching clients to do the same thing, until it occurred to me, why not just sell it to them instead of trying to make it do it themselves, which they don't want to do anyway. Kind of crazy.
Yeah, there's also a lot of supplies you need to cap your own stuff. Anyways, negative social interactions. So I put energy vampires, and I think everyone can kind of think about this. Like, people that you interact with that you feel worse off after the interaction. And, like, sometimes you might really love that person, but you have to limit them because you have to protect your own energy. And sometimes they might need more help than what you can actually give them by yourself. And if you might be like, oh, that's selfish. But no, if you allow your energy to get zapped, if you allow you to get brought down to their level, now both of you guys are screwed. So you have to protect yourself first, and then you can help others. Overcommitment, taking on too many responsibilities, can lead to burnout. Communicate with people. Tell them where you're at. If you have too much on your plate, tell them there's too much on your plate. Like, seriously, talk to people. Even back when I was working a corporate job, talk to people. Was it a corporate job? No, I wasn't in corporate. I was working as an engineer for a large industry, for a large company. Commuting. So with commuting, it's stressful if you want it to be stressful. If you're always looking for that spot, which lane's faster, yeah, man, that's going to stress you out. That's going to really stress you out. If you're sitting there, get your nice seat kicked back, got like, maybe you got a good audiobook going. You're just on the wheel, you're breathing, focusing on the breath, looking at the clouds, how nice it is. You're stuck in traffic, man, I don't give a crap. My AC's on high, my seat warmer's on, got a good audiobook. I'm loving this. Like, don't stress about it. That's what I'm saying. Like, I got a speeding ticket a while back when I just got my license, because I used to drive like 100 everywhere. But ever since then, I just go the speed limit, toss on my cruise control. I'm just sitting there. I'm like, look at those clouds. Isn't this such a nice day? And enjoying it. Like, you can enjoy driving, and it makes it so it doesn't zap your energy. Also, taking back roads, taking new ways to get somewhere. If you know this road takes you, if you know it's going to take you 30 minutes to get to this place via the highway because there's traffic, but it's going to take you 33 minutes to get there via back roads, go back roads. You're going to feel a lot more energized. You're going to see new things. You're going to have new thoughts. You need to see new things and go to new places to have new thoughts. Or you need to create space for awareness. Digital distractions. Yeah, just don't do it. Put stuff on Do Not Disturb. I mean, it seemed to work for all of humanity up until when was pager invented? Let's just call it 1990. I'm too young for this stuff. Yeah, you don't actually need it. Like, you can live life without it. And then physical clutter. I'm finally validated. My OCD about stuff needing to be clean is finally validated. Whenever my room gets messy, whenever there's a mess on the floor, I can deal with disorganized, but I can't deal with dirty. Dirty, I have to clean it right then. Anyways, make sure your environment's clean. Make sure it's nice. Jordan Peterson, clean your room, man. And with that, I'll leave you with overworked equals underrested. So go get some sleep, go meditate, enjoy your life. Stay tuned for part 3, which is going to come out. And in part 3, I'm going to talk about more of the video. Let's see, how far we get. We got to the 6-minute mark today. So there's going to be probably 8 more of these videos. And in the next one, I'm going to talk about how to train your mind in meditation. So peace out.